Hi, welcome to In a Pickle Knitting. My name is Donna and this is Vlogtober 27. It's October 27th, 2018. I'm coming to you from Manassas, Virginia with a short vlog that includes a seasonal children's literature book and a craft. So today's book is called Mousekin's Golden House, written and illustrated by Edna Miller, and she actually wrote a lot of stories about Mousekin. This one is a favorite book of mine. It is out of print. However, your local library may have it, and I do believe it's available on the secondary market as a used book. The copy that I have here is fairly old, and I want to tell you what it's about. So little Mousekin happens upon something in his environment that he's never seen before, and it's a little frightening to him at first. It is this jack-o'-lantern, and it has a new smell and it looks very different. But as he's worried about it, and he was quite worried about it, but he's still going to investigate, an owl comes along with talons out to catch him for dinner, and so he dives inside to find that inside it was golden. And here he is with the owl and diving inside the mouth of the jack-o'-lantern, and inside it's very golden. And so he thinks, this is kind of nice, and he stays there to sleep. The next day, who is it that comes along? The cat. And once again, he gets into his wonderful little place to stay, and he scares the mouse because he starts cleaning inside and throws out pumpkin seeds and some of the slimy stuff inside, and he decides this is a good place. So he goes about and finds all sorts of soft things to fill his new little house. He finds bird feathers and tufts of milkweed and other things, and he watches the turtle go along, and he ends up scaring the turtle by popping his head right through the nose of the jack-o'-lantern. Well, as he's decided this is where he's going to live, and as the leaves start to blow, different animals, here it's a phoebe bird, telling him he better go, you better come along. And in fact, it's a little verse that gets repeated. Come south with me, come right away, your house will never do. The wind will blow, the snow will snow, and chill you through and through. Well, he decides to stay there anyway, and then along comes a chipmunk with his mouth full of nuts, and gives him a very similar little warning, but he's going to stay. In fact, he slides in through the top and goes down his nice little soft spot in there, and once winter starts, the jack-o'-lantern starts closing his eyes, and the little mouse can live away the winter in hibernation inside his little house. I just love this story. I think the watercolor illustrations are they're soft, but they're very appealing, and it's just a really sweet story. So our craft today is it's a cross stitch that I did. I just wanted to do a simple little thing so that I had something to frame, because it's more about showing you how to display than the work itself. So what's coming up next will be me showing you how I put together this way of displaying this cross stitch piece, which could have been done for anything else that you could put in a frame instead of cross stitch. I do make a couple of mistakes, which I'm able to fix as I'm going. So, you know, even when you make mistakes, you figure a way to solve that problem and move on with your project. So, coming up next is the segmented part of me trying to make this for you. Thanks for stopping by today. Hope I can see you again tomorrow. Bye. For this project, you'll need to have something that you're going to frame your stitching or what have you. And you'll need a frame that it will definitely fit into. My frame could be a little smaller, my work could be a little larger, but it'll be fine for what we're doing today. And you will need a candlestick. I purchased this candlestick at Michael's. It had a little metal piece inside that I pried out, and this has been spray painted. You'll also need a bead or that has a hole all the way through, or this, it's not even been painted all the way around, is I think a dowel cover or something, but it does have a hole here. and it needs to fit inside of your candlestick opening. Then you're going to need a dowel or to cut a piece of dowel. Now this has not been painted yet. I have one painted, it's drying. I got it on my fingers, so I decided I'd cut another little piece just for demonstration. But it needs to be a diameter that will fit inside of your bead or whatever you're gonna choose to put in here. Mine was 3/8 of an inch, but whatever you can find that will fit. And then you're going to need a piece of foam core that has been cut to fit inside of your frame. This does fit, it's just got those little things that keep it from going down, but it needs to fit inside there. I did remove the glass, and also this frame came with a backing piece that had a little easel that would hold it up, but I'm not going to be using it that way. So I have cut a piece of foam core to fit inside. I have also cut a piece of my fiber fill because I would like to have that on top between this and the needlework, just to have it come out a little bit. It's not very high loft, but you know, you could have 2 layers or have it higher. And then I also cut a piece of scrapbooking paper that fits the back of my frame. And I'm going to be using some of my scrapbooking tape that I have here. And I think that's what we need to get started on making this project. My cross-stitch piece has already been washed, and then I steam ironed it with the design facing down onto a towel so that when you finish steaming it that way and lift up the piece, you should be able to see an indentation on the towel. That way you've pushed the needlework forward to let it stand out a bit. I'm going to center this piece of fiber fill over my design, and that will help me then to know where to place the foam core. And I am going to be using some tape to just put over the sides, but you'll see you would get a lot of bulk down here. Sometimes that still works. If you can fold it like this, it'll still work. I'm going to cut off part of this fabric here. I don't want to go too close because I don't want it to, you know, poke through, but I am going to draw some lines and cut fabric off just to reduce a little bit of bulk. I will also be using some scraps of ribbon that I have to finish off the project, but this is certainly something that you can omit from your finishing or use lots more than I'm using. So I've trimmed off a little bit of excess from the corners, and I'm going to put my piece of foam core down and apply some of the tape all along the edges to help catch it. This is a double-sided tape. The tape has been applied, and now I have to peel back the backing paper. So I peeled back the backing, and I'm going to press firmly here and pull forward on these pieces to get them secured, and I'm going to worry about turning the corners a little bit better afterward. Okay, so it is in place, and I'm going to work at the corners a little bit. Now I've worked the corners in a little bit and pushed it down into my frame and double check that, you know, it's centered the way you'd like. And I'm adding some extra pieces of this tape now so that I can keep this top edge to stay down. I peeled back the backing on that tape, and I'm gonna push these pieces down. And I have also added my tape at the very edge of both the top and the bottom of the frame and peeled the backing off, and then applied pieces to the sides so that I can be sure that the corners are covered. And you want to center your backing fabric or paper. And I totally neglected to tell you something you needed to do to your frame after taking out the glass and that backing piece. You need to drill a hole in the bottom that is that will accommodate your dowel. So I got a 3/8 inch bit, and I didn't go very deeply. I'm going to be putting some wood glue in there to hold the dowel in, and your bit has a point on it, so the point goes down in there. You want to be sure you have a frame. Now I've got to actually take mine apart because I put my picture in upside down. I wasn't paying attention to where the hole was. So don't do that. Well, I was able to remove the paper and the tape that I had there, which was a good thing because I had forgotten. You're supposed to push these little metal pieces down there to help hold it in place, your picture in place. So I will apply a new paper because I didn't have enough of the other one to do it over again. But there's the backing, and there's our front, our holes at the bottom as it should be there, and we're ready for the next step. So we're ready to put things together. Now, I told you about having this little bead fit in here in the top, and you could glue it down, but mine fits really securely, and what I like about having it not glued in is that once I get everything put together, I can still move this around and adjust it. I've practiced with just the dowel in there, and I can move it a little bit to get it so that it'll be nice and straight. So that's why I'm not going to glue this in now. If it becomes a problem, I can always just put some wood glue down in there. But I am going to glue the dowel into here. It's just mine's still wet. So put some glue down in here and put your dowel in, and then I'm going to put a little bit of glue right here and get it in there straight, and then we will let it dry, and it'll be time to decorate. Now the dowel that I've cut for this actually is shorter. I don't know how long I cut it. I eyeballed it, but I would say it's more of an inch shorter than this. I don't think it needs to be very tall, and would even accentuate it being a little askew. So that is what I will do next, and I will bring that back, and we'll put the ribbon on it and be all done.